In this video, I'll be sharing with you what are squares and square roots. Squares and square. So what is a square of a number? So you see 2 to the power of 2 is called 2 squared. 3 to the power of 2 is called 3 squared. 5 to the power of 2 is 5 squared. So actually this is considered the base. This is the index. And when the index is 2, we can say it's a square. So let's say I'll give you another example, 10 squared. Okay, this is 10 squared. And so what does all this mean? What is 10 squared? What is 3 squared? What is 5 squared? 5 squared is equals to 5 times 5. And what is 5 times 5? 25. So 5 squared is 25. 10 squared is 10 times 10. Sorry. Okay, 10 times 10, 100. So this is basically what is squared. So 3 squared will be 3 times 3, and that will be 9. 2 squared will be 2 times 2, and that's 4. Okay, so square root is actually the opposite of squares. So let's say we want to find, okay, since there are some examples here, so let me use 25 here. Okay, so 25 square root looks like this. So 25 square root equals to what? So do you see 5 squared is 25? So 25 square root, the opposite of square, so the square root of 25 is 5. So let's say we use 100 now. So you see 100 square root will be equals to 10, because 10 squared you get 100. Yeah, so of course there will be numbers like, okay, because all these numbers here are considered perfect squares, which means when you all these numbers, I mean 25, 100, and like 3 squared is 9, right? So 9 is also a perfect square. The reason it's called perfect square is that when you square root it, it will give you a nice whole number, which is not a fraction or anything. So it'll give you 3, because 3 squared is 9, right? Okay, let's continue to do the square and square roots for larger numbers. So for example, let's say we take 36 squared. How do you find this? 36 squared is 36 times 36. And so when we got to do the multiply, I assume we don't have a calculator here, so we will do it manually. So this one you get, okay, so 129. So let me check. 1296. So there you have it. square for larger numbers actually is quite straightforward. You just times the number by itself, and you can use a multiplication table. Okay, so how about square root for a large number? So let's say we square root this number here, 296, right? What is the answer? We can't do anything of this sort here, right? So what we can do is to make use of prime factorization. So as before, we will do the prime factorization. So we break down into smaller. Okay, so this one will be 48. 1, 2. Okay, so this will be 3, 2, 4, 2. Okay, let's just break it down even further. Okay, so no. Okay, sorry, 81. Okay, 81 can be divided by 3. So this one gives you 27, and you divide by 3 again, it's 9. Divide by 3 again, you get 3. Divide by 3 again, okay, you get 1. So we can see that we can write this into 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 to the power 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3 to the power of 4. Okay, take note, this is this number here inside. So we are finding the square root of this number. So there are few. Okay, the answer actually to solve this, okay, we can see it in a few ways. We can see square root as a power of half, so which means that we can see that it's 2/4 times 3/4 to the power of half. And when we have a power of half here, when we times in, you would times this 4 by half, so your result is actually 2 to the power 2 times 3 to the power of 2. And so this is your answer. Another way you can look at this is taking out a power of 2, because okay, so basically I'll just write it down. 2 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 4, sorry, 3 power 2, and you square this and you square root. So whenever you square and square root something, you will get this number itself, right? So your final answer is also the same. Okay, so this is method 1. Method 2, how you can, this method 1, this method 2, how you can look at this problem. So resulting is this. Okay, so let me explain why does this work. Because when you square a number, let's say 3 squared, and you square root this number, so 3 squared is 9, and when 9 you square root it, you get back this number. So this how this squared thing works. And but another thing to take note, how do you get these 2 here from the 4, right? So actually it's divided by 2. So that is because when you times a power into a bracket, like let's say, okay, this is an example here, so I'll just give an example. Let's say 2 power 16 times, okay, let's say 5 to the power of 10, whatever, okay, and you times this by a power of 3. Whenever you do this, you would actually times it in, so this one will be 48 because 16 times 3, and that will be 30. So in a way, this is the opposite, so this is the opposite of this. So you take out 3 from this one, so you divide everything by 3 and 3 comes out here. Same for this, so 4, this 4 here becomes the 2 here because you took out a 2 here. And so you could see that when you square root it, it will become this here. So the answer to this question is actually this. So 2 squared times 3 squared. So what is 2 squared times 3 squared? 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 times 9, 36. Yeah, so I'm sure this, I hope this has given you a better understanding of how you can use prime factorization, which is this, to determine the square root of a certain number, and you can do this without a calculator. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.